What's up, Dice Crew? Keeping it a Benji, and I'm getting back with y'all, right? Now, look, I want to do some coverage, and I want to do a breakdown or reacting, or however you want to word it. I want to speak on the whole situation pertaining to like Wack 100. He been having like a field day. You know, he put out a couple videos and stuff pertaining to Munchie B interview up there at No Jumper with Adam and Poetik Flakko. Now, you know, I was seeing all them clips and all them titles and stuff surfacing across my desk and timelines and all that, but I didn't really want to have an opinion on it until I watched the whole interview myself, and then, you know, watch what Wack 100 video had to say and all that. So I did that, right? And I'm gonna keep it real and keep it a Benji. Like, Wack ain't really pointing out nothing wrong. And, you know, I'm really, like, kind of disappointed in Munchie because, you know, most people got a lot of respect for Munchie in his approach or his conduct or his get down, whether you know him personally or just his overall get down publicly on these cameras and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And, you know, it be rumors and negative stuff about people, but I try my best not to, like, cover those type of things or get off on certain stuff that I just can't really prove myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, to just try to disrespect a person or bash a person, you know, without having the facts right, that's just kind of extreme, you know? And that ain't really, like, good conduct. So, to me, it's like, when it comes to the good stuff that I gather and I watch, I always stole Munchie his flowers, you know? But even on this situation, what disappoints me is that he'll fall victim to something that a lot of people, like, that come from the streets or the gang culture will fall victim to. And that's like trying to find a friend and into like a civilian or a non-affiliate or a regular person. You know what I mean? And it's like kind of like what Wack was saying. Like, you let a person from North Dakota kind of put you in this twist. And I feel like, you know, Flakko was wrong for that. But Flakko is how he is, and he's a normal guy, and he's entitled to do what he want to do, you know? But I feel like, you know, Flakko be acting like he definitely is a friend of Munchie and he like Munchie. So I don't understand why Flakko would even put Munchie in that position and ask certain type of stuff that, you know, is so tricky for a person not to put themselves in a jam. You know what I mean? And it's like, first and foremost, it's like, do you even really care about Munchie, Flakko, or do you just know that, you know, a person from the streets or from the gang culture, you know, a lot of us would do whatever we would do, not like just, you know, like do some hoe type stuff or nothing like that, but we all be cool to interact with a person that's trying to give us some spotlight or give us some notoriety or, you know, share their platform or big us up. But I feel like, you know, if you really was like had care for Munchie, feel like you shouldn't even really ask certain type of questions, you know? And, you know, shout out to Mariah, because Mariah, she take a stance to where she be trying her best not to really speak too deeply about like street politics or gang politics or man issues and stuff like that. So, you know, I give her credit on that. But it was times where she definitely kept trying to like, you know, she inserted herself a few times on there to where she was definitely not feeling Flakko's approach. You know what I'm saying? Now, anybody that go watch that interview up there at No Jumper, you will see that for yourself. You know what I mean? But at times, I feel like Munchie should have just shifted the whole conversation. It's like, who cares? Like, what does it got to do with Flakko and his whole just level of understanding and comprehension, or just gathering a whole lot of information? Like, what you being shot got to do with Flakko at the end of the day, Munchie? Like, because no matter how you flip it, like, yeah, you might not win and pointed nobody out. You may not win and said this and did this and do that, but you shedded light on the crime. Like, you said that you wouldn't get up there and speak on crimes and stuff like that, like Loose Cannon and them, which I don't agree with their approach. You know what I mean? I share that agreement with you. But you said you wouldn't get on there and carry on with certain type of crimes. But it's like, when you got the whole world and people in the streets assuming that you got shot behind this, that, and the third, which is fine, because people obviously might not know the truth. You feel me? So whatever they assume or whatever they heard in third party or fourth party, then that's just what they heard. But for you to even point it out like that and confirm something and say something happened internal, then at the end of the day, homie, you shedding light on a crime. Because what a person did to you was a crime in the eyes of the law. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you went to trying to put a person in jail. I'm not saying that. But you allow Flakko to put you in a position that a person like Wack 100 can have a field day with. You know what I mean? And before anybody else get out here and, not know what's going on in certain situations, it's like, me, myself, homie, I have been shot a handful of times or a few couple different times, I should say. And, I've never got out here publicly. And if you just wasn't directly involved with them situations at that time, and played any part in that in some type of way, then, I don't be saying nothing about where it came from or who did it. That's just how I carry myself about it. You know what I mean? Me personally. Because you just never know what you can actually be saying. You know what I mean? Or what you can be doing. Now, I'm sure Munchie might look at it like, even if they grab the person, I'm not going to do no testifying to get them. So against them. So it is what it is. But that's a small infraction. And you got to hold that. You got to hold yourself accountable for that. You know what I mean? Next thing. Just like the loose cannon situation pertaining to Draco the Ruler and Ralphie. Loose cannon never got on there and said anything about Inglewood doing anything to Draco. He never said that. You know what I'm saying? But he said, hey, I got this. I'm talking to Ralphie, and I let Ralphie know that I got these people right here who's, behind the Draco stuff. Pull up. We finna handle business. Then he made a story, he said, Ralphie was scary and all this and that type of stuff, which was whatever. We don't know the truth or whatever. But not one time did Loose Cannon really or anybody else put just, a stamp on Inglewood. And anybody who's not from Inglewood or who's not from family or anything that's, directed involved can have an opinion all they want to. They can talk about what they assume and what they think. But when you being from Inglewood and you being from families, when you say something, you give it a lot more value and a lot more confirmation. When he say, when you chose it, when you let Flakko on them ask you how you felt about that, you know what you said, Munchie? You said, well, Loose Cannon, you from 60s, right? Why you don't do it? You got a problem with Inglewood anyway. But you threw something in there that was never a topic, Munchie. Inglewood was never a topic in Loose Cannon's little interview with nobody else that's, really on some street stuff, trying to keep it honorable on the street side. You know what I mean? So those two things, homie, you pretty much did make some small infractions. Now, how everybody else feel it, some people might feel like it's a bigger issue. Some might feel like it's a smaller issue. But anytime you give out a snippet of information about something that took place, or you point things out in a certain direction about crimes and stuff like that, then people gonna definitely shake their head about that, man. And I am disappointed about that, but I'm not saying that, Munchie or anybody else gotta care for my opinion or how I feel. But, me being the type of guy that always give Munchie his flowers, I felt like I had the right to get on here and point out certain stuff that I wasn't in agreement with, But my more approach about it is like, not like what Wack is saying, like trying to make Munchie be deemed out like just some rat and a snitch and all that stuff. My main thing would be like, watch these people, man. When I mean these people, it's like, watch these civilians, these podcasters, these interviewers, civilians, just normal people. Because they will act like they down for you and act like they for your story, but it's always something else in the chamber. That's just like, one of the last examples I could probably put out there that one of the more recent things that I could probably use is, I'm sure if everybody watched Raising Canaan, then everybody seen Marvin messing with the white journalist type news reporter dude, and he was acting like he was all into the backstory of Marvin and Jukebox and all that stuff. But when time came up, dude started trying to report information to the cops, because, that's what normal guys like that is into. It's rare that you're going to find somebody that actually care or sympathize with our background and our stories and whatever we come through and go through. You know what I mean? But people know it's great content. So a person will fake befriend you just to make your story become their content. And they don't care about your slip-ups at all. That's just like you went up there to no jumper. And you got to also be mindful that Draco might be dead. Adam might be not seeing eye to eye all the time with the Stink Team, but the Stink Team and Draco and them helped build that platform. So you got to be mindful, like, you never know where that loyalty really go. Poetik, Flakko, and Adam, Wack 100 is a part of No Jumper. If you and you know, I'm gonna give you credit about this, Munchie, you and Vlad. Like, y'all both called out Adam 22 about putting out that Big U interview. You know what I'm saying? So y'all both is disagreeing with that, and I disagree with that too. But however, you got to think about it. Adam was still willing to let that get put out there based upon his chemistry, his bond, and his tie to Wack 100. So you went up to a platform that most of these, like Flakko and Adam, loyalty is pretty much to some other guys that you not really eye to eye with. You know what I mean? Not saying that they might try to do some physical type, just, you know, whatever. But everybody's human, and everybody got an opinion and a feeling and where their loyalty might go. So I feel like, you know, you put yourself in that position with these people that's really, you know, catering and sympathizing with other guys. And I feel like Flakko put that out there just on purpose because he know Wack and them was going to have a field day on it. Like, who else really had a field day on it? Didn't nobody else really cover that stuff? So that's my thing, man. You know, we got to be mindful out here. It's like it's a dude named Frank something, and I don't know why I can't think of the name right now, but he come from the mafia days, you know? And he said, you know, as gangsters, that, you know, whatever, street guys, wise guys, and all that, we take ourselves to think that we sharper and smarter off the dribble than what we might actually be. So when we get in these, you know, it's not never good. So he said that it's never really good for us to get in the courtroom and try to speak or get in front of cameras with certain people and speak, just because we're not really trained in that aspect. You know what I mean? And, you know, we got to just be mindful with that, homie. That's just like, I'm going to use a small example on like when Expo was up there. You know, he did one of the best reactions next to Pee Wee Longway. Like, Adam asked him something about something. I think it was like a shooting and a robbery or some stuff like that. And Expo just went quiet. Which is very great, because at the end of the day, you know, some of these topics is like, you can only say certain stuff or answer it in the most appropriate manner. You know what I mean? That's all we can really do with certain topics when a person asks you certain stuff. So it's best to just get quiet on it, or say, I don't want to speak on it, or next topic, next subject. Or we could use Pee Wee Longway, get down with Vlad. Just say no for everything. You know, no, when a person asks you stuff and all that. So, you know, that was something I just wanted to shed light on. I know that probably was like 2 weeks ago, but again, I didn't want to assume and just jump in and make my video just off the rip without watching that whole No Jumper interview. And y'all could go watch that. You know, it's up there with Adam and Flakko and Munchie B and Mariah on the No Jumper platform. Then, you know, y'all could go hear Wack do his own reaction about it over there, you know, over at Clubhouse. So shout out to the Dice crew. Shout out to Munchie. Shout out to Flakko, Adam, and No Jumper, and Wack. You know, everything, you know, it is what it is. But I hope somebody was able to learn some of the stuff that I was pointing out in this video, man. And y'all keep it a Benji for me in the comments. If not, don't jump in. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. I'm out.